Yo, what's up? I'm FLUCC. Today I want to show you how I made the kick from one of my latest tracks called Goblin Dances in Moonshine. It's a hardcore kick with like this driving 16th percussion to give it like a galloping feel, inspired by like some trance stuff like this. The track has got like some nice synth, so this galloping kick underneath plays out really well, gives a good drive. Yeah, in the first part I'm gonna make a kick in a similar manner, just gonna show you like why I did certain things and like explain some stuff and whatever. And in the second part I'm gonna dive into the actual project and show you how I actually made the kick, what the exact values were and everything, just like, yeah, more detail in the project. I like to make my kicks in Serum because you have a lot of, like, especially hardcore kicks, you have a lot of control and you can just do so many things with it. So I'm gonna start off by turning down the random phase on both oscillators because we want the kick to sound the same every time it's being triggered. For the first oscillator, I'm gonna select the basic MG. I like to have this oscillator relatively clean because it's gonna contribute the low end of the kick and it's gonna make like the bass for the kick. So basically like the main shape and the main frequencies in the low end are from this. And I'm gonna create an envelope for the pitch attack and for some modulation of this first oscillator. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna map this envelope. It's exactly 1/4 note long. So I'm gonna map it to the master tune, unipolar mapping. Oh, and I forgot, we have to pitch down this oscillator, of course, otherwise it's gonna sound like shit. So let's listen to this. Okay. Let's turn up the modulation. Yeah, we have like some attack in the kick, like, because basically what it's doing, it's rolling, it's taking the wave and rolling it through a frequency spectrum, so you get some information in the high end that's dropping off to the low end very quickly, and it creates an initial transient and also some punch. If we do it like this, for example, we get a lot of transient and a lot of the bass sound, but not as much punch. So I like to have my kicks roll off a little bit more gentle. Makes it a bit more punchy. So, okay, let's also choose a modulation. I'm gonna go with pulse width modulation, which modulates the width of this waveform. And also I'm going to modulate it with the same envelope, just to have a bit more of that attack coming out. Now we can start working on a filter. I want to filter out the low frequencies as the kick is being triggered a little bit. So I'm going to make a shape in the envelope like this. Yeah, so I'm going to assign it to the cutoff of this low pass filter. I'm going to make it unipolar as well, and let's see. Okay, yeah, that cleans it up a little bit, but don't worry, it's gonna get a lot more dirt in later. For the second oscillator, I think I used one of those frees. I think, yeah, this one it was. On itself, sounds like this. Already pretty sick because we've got the pitch automation. Here you can hear like, because this has a sine wave underneath basically. The bass sounds like very clean, so it's a nice layer for this, which has a bit more of a dirty bass. Sounds pretty cool. Something like this. So yeah, I'm gonna put an envelope on that as well. I'm gonna put it on the level of this oscillator. So it basically contributes a lot to the tail, like it leaves a little bit of that attack free, and contributes more to the tail and doesn't roll off completely. So when you hold the kick, it doesn't go all the way down. Okay, I'm also going to send that through the filter. Now for the fun part, we're going to put some distortion on it. I really like to make those things in Serum because of the X shaper. It's basically like a wave shaper. You have this thing where you can edit the form of the shaper. I'm going to put one just as like very basic distortion. The A is mapped to the left side and B is mapped to the right side. So that's some pretty nasty distortion, but pretty basic. And this one I'm going to make very dirty sort of distortion, go like this sort of sinoid S shape sort of thing. That sounds like that. Lots of color, lots of texture, but not so clean. Some combination between that. Yeah, that's like pretty nasty. It gets like some color and it gets the punch. Okay, so I'm gonna add one more saturator with a hard clip, and I'm gonna use a bit of that low end protection knob here. Actually, let's try some overdrive as well, so we get back some of that high harmonic. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, yeah. So that's to get a bit of that grit back. I'm gonna choose a high pass filter. I like to use this technique where I using a high pass filter that shifts the phase before going into distortion. That way you can extract like a lot of, or generate a lot of character and really shape the kick. So I'm gonna select some clipping here, some pretty nasty clipping. I'm actually going to draw in some notes because I want to try to find something that creates a little bit of an offbeat bass effect. Something like this. That's pretty cool. It's like a pumping sort of effect. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer. That's just like for the top end attack, to highlight that a little bit more. I have those, have some hardcore kicks here. Let's use something like this. And get just the attack from it. So, okay, a bit of filtering to take out the low end. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, very nice and punchy. Put it in a group together. Now I'm going to edit the group. One of the things I did with this kick is I put a different EQ on the left and the right channel. So with the EQ8 you've got those 3 different modes where you can either affect the stereo field together, or the left and right channels independently, or the mid and side channels independently, or mid and side information. I use that to again create like some high pass filters, but at different frequencies on the left and the right channel. Something like this. I'm going to send that through some distortion and extract some of the stereo harmonics, just to give it some stereo character. And then I'm gonna put it back to mono in the low frequencies, just so we have clean low frequencies for the mix. Put a saturator on there. Let's see. Okay. Nice. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. I like that, but it lags a bit on the left, so. Okay, now that sits pretty awkwardly in the stereo field, but let's run with it for now. Gonna put some overdrive, actually, let's do it before the saturator to get some really nasty distortion. Okay, it sounds pretty disgusting, so we like it. Gonna try some more filtering. And send it through Clipper. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay, but let's remove the low end side information so we get it back to mono in the low end. Utility. Okay. Some more distortion. But I'm gonna boost the lows a little bit. Okay, so I've adjusted the stereo cue a little bit. I like it like this. Nice. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some little percussion to get that rhythm in the kick. So I'm gonna create a new MIDI channel, and I'm gonna use some kick from here again. Nice. So staying all the way down, give it some like that, and take out all the low frequencies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's actually the sample I used in the original as well. It has like this nice clap-like character when it comes through all of the distortion from the group. Let's draw in some rhythm with it. Yeah, like this. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, so I mean, you could have this as a separate percussion, but the reason I have it in this group is because the group ties everything together, so it basically becomes like one sound. And it just like glues the kick together with the percussion to make a little bit of, yeah, to just glues them together. Okay, so in this case I actually put the filter down a little bit, just so it gets integrated into the kick a little bit better. I think it's that works quite well. Okay, last finishing steps. Basically, let's try out some phase shifting again with the filter and go through a clipper, and that should be it. That's gonna get like the last bit of evilness out of this, like make it really dirty. But yeah, the digital clip is more of a clean distortion in a way, like it makes really harsh sounds, but compared to the medium or hard curve, they are more like full sounding. The digital clip is like very aggressive. So I'm gonna actually set it up before I choose the filter, just so I can have a reference of what it sounds like when the phase shift is getting distorted. Okay, so this now makes up for a lot of the character. So here you can choose a lot of different settings and they all sound kind of cool. I like something like this in this case, so let's leave it like that. And can actually add a bit of compression just to flatten out the peaks a lot. So let's see what sort of compression could work here. I mean, that works, like very fast attack and release. You can set them so fast that it already distorts the sound a little bit, like when you listen to the difference. But anyway, when you set the release really short, it starts to distort a little bit. Okay, I think this cleans it up a little bit. It lets a little bit of transient through from the attack, but the release is rather quick. Yeah, that gives, makes it a little bit more clean, especially when you run it through the clipper afterwards. Okay, so this is a very disgusting kick now. Exactly what we like. Just because I'm curious, I want to look at the waveform, what it looks like. No, I'm just going to record it because I'm lazy. This is the kick that we just did. You see what the clipper does? It makes like those fucking, it basically just makes everything a square wave. Like you still have like some characteristics in it, and interestingly enough, like the attack, it still has some more volume. Like this is what it looks like. Like it's just chopped off. You know, every bit of info removed. That's why it sounds like so clean with the clipper, but so aggressive. Okay, so now I'm gonna dive into the actual project and show you what I've done there. Yeah, this is the track. Yeah, so you hear that kick rumbling in the bottom and that synth on top. Yeah, so for this main kick, it's this layer. It's pretty much exactly how we built it. The same oscillators, and actually I used a little bit of a sharper cut here, which makes this a little bit cleaner, not so aggressive in the high end. And some overdrive, some clipping, and some phase shifting. Exactly, and then the left and right EQ and that sort of stuff, some clipping, everything again. Then we can have a look at this. Yeah, that's actually the same we used earlier. It's a sort of similar rhythm. Actually, I shorted the notes here a little bit. They're a bit more concise, and it's a little bit less notes in there, but it's pretty similar. And some attack. Here, actually interesting is I put some resonance in around E that gives like a little bit of really disgusting overtones in the kick, but because they're in key, it sounds kind of cool, sounds kind of nice, although it makes it like very like aggressive. You can hear like the difference without sounds rather round and with. There's like this one frequency that really bites your ear, but yeah, it's in key, so it's nice. Works together with the rest of the kick and the rest of the track. Here there's actually one more attack sound that comes from Serum. It's just a noise set to one shot and panned to the right a little bit, just to counteract this one. I felt like it had a little bit too much attack on the left, so I made this to get a little bit of high frequency content in on the right as well. And then there's this bass. Sounds like this. Some really phasey Reese sort of bass. It's actually a Serum preset, but I did this track very quickly. when DURCH were asking for a track, I was very excited, and they said like they want to have it very soon, like after the weekend, and I was like, okay, we have 3 days, so I'm just gonna lock myself in the room, make this track. But yeah, so that's all there's to it in this kick group. The main sound, then the percussion, some attack, and this bass, and I'm putting it all through some more EQing, some more phase shifting. I actually used this one to take out the bass in some parts, which also, because it goes through the clipper afterwards, makes the sound like elevates the sound, makes it louder and more aggressive, but it takes out the bass. You will hear the difference here, for example. Yeah, it's basically like just removing the low end so you can get into the next 8 bars or whatever it's here, 16, until I'm doing it again. It's a nice way of removing some energy from the track before putting it back in. And yeah, one interesting thing is here I actually put on the DC filter. Yeah, so what this DC filter does, it removes any direct current basically. So I understand it that it removes like big polarity changes. So when the polarity is shifted upwards or shifted downwards, it corrects for that before going into the clipper, which basically centers the waveform around 0. That's what I believe it does. And yeah, that's apart from that, it's pretty much the same what we built earlier. I copied some kicks here, and I basically copied this kick over here. It's pretty similar, and I put different, like I set it up a little bit differently. For example, I didn't use the low pass filter, I used the peak filter. I changed the wave position of this one, of the first oscillator, and I put a different oscillator in the second. It's actually just a square wave, but with this bend saw wave, but with this bend modulation. And then I did something similar here. Okay, that's just playing around with oscillators, but it's the same sort of kick shape, and then you get some sounds like this. So here, actually, for this one, I think I also adjusted the envelope of the second oscillator, so it's more of an offbeat. Sounds pretty cool. And then switching them around with the original kick to get some variation in the different parts. Yeah, so that's how I made the kick for this track. I hope you, got some inspiration out of that. I mean, there's a million ways to make kicks. Like, I just wanted to show you one way I did it. But I hope maybe you saw something useful or heard something useful or something like this. And I hope you also liked the track I made. And yeah, thanks for watching.